I'm here with Liz Atkin. She is in from London. We are doing the first of what will hopefully be a series of art and med interviews. Liz came in to do a show at UCLA, and she spoke at UCLA and USC today about her medical condition and how that worked as a creative catalyst for her artwork.
So I have a condition called compulsive skin picking dermatillomania. I've had this since I was a child, since I was 7 or 8 years old, and I started making artwork about it 10 years ago. But more recently, I've had more complications with depression and anxiety, and the work that's at UCLA from now until December is actually expressing those very dark experiences alongside compulsive skin picking.
Okay. Well, let's talk first about the skin picking.
Yeah.
So you, in your talk, you mentioned that you have sort of replaced the movements and the actions of the skin picking by doing repetitive images with your art. So why don't you talk about that?
So compulsive skin picking, for me, my personal experience is this repetitive movement pattern that would travel around my body. So I would pick my back, I would pick my arms, my chest, my feet, my fingers, my face. And one of the first things I did, I was doing a master's in dance, and I started to study the movement patterns of my body. Just as an exercise, we were to record the movement in an hour of how I would sit and stand and move. And of course, when I played the footage back, there was my compulsive skin picking, because in an hour or in 10 minutes or even in a few minutes at the time when I was very unwell, this illness was just happening instinctively, unconsciously, as well as consciously. So it was a real turning point, and from that I made the decision that I would use this illness to create something from it and use it and see what I can do. And because I was studying dance, I very quickly realized that, like a dancer moves their feet, my fingers had this movement memory, this muscle memory that was so ingrained. I would pick in my sleep when I was really unwell. So over the course of the master's, so that was 2 years, I started this very compulsive, repetitive series of photographs, and that sort of is part of my creative practice now, that I use a camera.
So how did using the camera make up for the picking?
So part of my experience of compulsive skin picking is I would pick in front of a mirror quite often. And that sense of the gaze is something that the camera provides the perfect tool for. So instead of me picking in front of a mirror, I hold the camera in my hands, and my fingers are now using the camera repetitively. So the clicking of the button to take the photographs is sort of mirroring what the illness would be like against my skin and on my body. And with photography and with a camera, with modern cameras, the number of photographs I can take is endless. So, where that there's a thing that we call in compulsive skin picking called zoning out, where the illness would sort of take hold and you sort of shift your mind space and you're in this sort of zoned out place, and it's only when you kind of come out of it you realize what you've been doing. So when I was, really picking badly, I might lose 5 or 6 hours sitting in front of the mirror in the bathroom or sitting on the side of the bath. So what I've realized, which is for me a kind of personal revelation, is that when I make artwork, the same thing happens for me. I find this zoned out place, but it's mindful because it's right in the moment, and it's creative and using those sensations of the illness, but to make something.
So do you think you have at all cured yourself or just redirected your energies?
This is a good question. I think the illness is with me every day, and I use the creative processes of art and making and drawing. I draw quite a lot as well, to redirect my brain and to do something physical and practical with my fingers, with my hands, but also with my imagination and my mind. I think of it like an addict, that it's probably more like a daily reprieve, that I need to have these systems in place to keep me well. Basically, the shift into making stuff was not planned. I didn't think, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get better and I'm going to be cured. I don't think I am cured. I don't talk about it in those terms, because I've very recently had an experience where it swung back in very badly when I was unwell with depression and anxiety. So for me, it's a system that my body has carried so long. I need to find a way to redirect it.
So another thing you talked about today at your talk at USC
Yes.
Was the difference in treatment options
Yeah.
back home and here, that there were a lot more here.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about that briefly?
So in Los Angeles, in California, there are treatment centers for compulsive skin picking and hair pulling disorders, which are kind of under this banner of OCD, but also body focused repetitive behavior. And this buzzword, there's language here that is much further along than we are using that language in the UK, but it feels as if this stuff has been happening for quite some time. So since I've been here, I've realised the Trichotillomania Learning Centre, which is based in Santa Cruz, they have been running since the 90s. And they're about to start this incredible scheme of research to look at how the brain is functioning when these illnesses are taking place. In the UK, I've connected with Bethlehem Hospital, which is a psychiatric hospital, oldest psychiatric hospital in the world. They have an anxiety unit, and there are specialist doctors there that treat compulsive skin picking and hair pulling disorders. But in the general population of GPs and kind of in the wider known community for health, I don't think this disorder is getting as much press as it should be or could be in the UK at all. And meeting people here, they've said, they're maybe a little bit further along the line, but it's just not in the public consciousness as much as it needs to be. They estimate that between 4 and 6% of the population might suffer from body-focused repetitive behaviour. So that that might be hair pulling, it might be skin picking, it might be physical tics that cause, when it starts to cause a problem and it's affecting your life. I say this in the talk. We're human beings. We all pick a spot. We all have a scab that we might pick. That's a grooming behaviour that's very normal. In my case, it just escalated into something that changed my behaviour in all aspects of my life, affected my relationships, affected my work, affected my sleep. It was with me 24 hours a day. So that kind of mentality is very tiring and very hard to cope with. And making art has provided me with a release and a way to really manage it for me personally.
Great. And if people want to find that art?
Well, they have to go to my website, Ted, and that is lizatkin.com.
And your Twitter?
I'm on Twitter, which is @lizatkin.
Great.
Follow me. That's it.
All right. Thanks for doing our first
Thank
not
you for
very
having
professional
me.
interview.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks.